So you feel stuck, you feel like you lack motivation. Let's break down the key steps to reignite your drive, your passion, your motivation, and stay motivated throughout your recovery journey. But before doing all of that, who am I? My name is Wesley, and my mission, my big purposeful mission, is to help prevent 1,000 men from getting to suicidal thoughts because of porn addiction. These are my type of videos, and if that interests you, make sure you subscribe. Right now, we are in a war against the porn companies to try and shut them down. I have to help the most people possible finally quit porn for good so that they don't make money anymore. If you're interested by that, you might want to stick along, right? Also, aren't you tired of not being able to concentrate when you're doing tasks? You're at school, you have to listen to the teacher, but you can't focus for more than 15 minutes without being distracted by something. And you don't feel like school brings you enough dopamine, but you don't feel like that, right? You feel like school is boring. When you go outside, you go play with friends, some activities, you feel like that's boring. You do sports, maybe you play basketball, you feel like basketball is boring. All of what you're thinking about is, when am I going home? When am I coming back to my home? And what happened is that your brain is already excited for the moment that will come later, which is when you're going to FAP. So all he thinks about all of his day is, when am I going to FAP? And that is all because of your porn addiction. And you're lucky because I'm helping you with that. If you're interested, click the first thing down in the description. And that, let's continue directly with the video. As usual, before talking about motivation, I have to first explain what is motivation. So you have to understand what is motivation. Motivation is what drives you to do specific action in life. For example, you might want to start playing basketball right now. And because you want to play basketball, it didn't like arrive from nowhere, right? It came because you had the motivation to start basketball. And at first, that's what really makes you start new habits and new things. It's because you got motivation. Motivation makes you start things. But a lot of the time what happens is that during you doing these things, these new things in life, because having new things in life is cool, but after a moment, it's not new anymore. After 3 weeks of you doing constantly a new habit every day, it's not new anymore. It's part of your life, it's part of your routine. So it kind of become boring, and now you lack motivation and you don't want to continue it anymore. And the root of motivation can come from many places. It can come from personal values that you got from your own self, your own experiences, maybe even from your family. It comes from your desires and the result you want to achieve. The goal that you set to yourself can bring you motivation also. However, staying motivated is challenging. As I said, the more you do something, the less motivation you get for that thing. Especially when recovery gets tough. You feel like you're having the urges right now. You feel like you're going to go and FAP. You might not feel as motivated as at the start of your journey when you try to go the first 2 to 3 days without fapping. That's when you get the most motivation. And as the day pass, the days, the weeks pass, you're maybe now at day 21, it's been 3 full weeks, and you're maybe not going to feel as motivated as at the start of your journey, right? And that's normal. You're not at the start anymore. You've been 21 days without fapping, and you should be really proud of yourself for going these 21 days. Yes, maybe you're not finally free, but it's 21 days. That's like a lot, right? So now, if I put myself at your place, you don't have motivation anymore. What can I say to you so that you can implement it directly right now in your life and it can give you motivation? What I propose to you is to add and set clear goals. Clear goals are important. And I'm not talking any goal, right? Just saying you want to be free from porn addiction is a vague goal. It could be anything, right? What is the duration, the time period that you will take to break free? Are you do you consider, first of all, identify what is breaking free? What does it mean for you? Because breaking free is different for a lot of people. For myself, breaking free is not fapping for a whole life, right? You don't fap ever again in your life. That's my definition of breaking free. And how can I measure it? It's by not fapping for a whole year. Well, once you successfully not fap for a whole year, you're basically free. Because the urges that you once got at the start of your journey, you don't get them after the first year. Even I'd say after the first 5 months, maybe even less, like 3 months, after that you don't, more like 4. So after the first month, you don't get urges anymore. Or you will get some, but I mean, like, you're not getting urges once every week, right? You will get urges maybe once every 2 months, and the urges are not as strong because you successfully manage your brain, and now you know the healthy way of thinking, and you know that even if right now I'm hard, right, my dick is full, big hard, I won't think to myself, oh, I need to fap. I will think to myself, oh, right now I'm excited. That's like funny, right? Why am I excited right now? But I won't try to resolve it by fapping, because fapping isn't a solution to that big hard. The solution would be to fuck a girl, right? But maybe that right now in my life I don't have a girl. So what happens? I just taking it on myself, and that's a reminder to me to go and search for a woman in my life, because I need a woman in my life. You see how I reinterpret the thing. Usually people, what they do is when they heard, they think, oh, I need to go and fap, and not fap just randomly, right? Fap to porn. So they go grab their phone, fap to porn. But me, I'm thinking, oh, this reminds me that right now I might not have a girlfriend. I need to find myself a girl to fuck. You see how that's just a change, and I just realized it, but that's my way of thinking right now, because I'm finally free. I'm not even thinking of porn as a solution. Porn isn't even part of my life anymore. And that's like crazy when you think about it. So as for you, what you could do for your clear goals, it could be to, first of all, set yourself a date, specific date. You start, let's say today we are the 20th of September. You say to yourself, okay, I won't masturbate once until the 20th of October. So in 1 month. And that's your goal. That's your first goal, right? It's not your end goal. Your end goal is to be free. And you define by yourself what you mean by free. But now your specific measurable goal is what? Don't fap until 1 month, 1 full month. Now you have your goal. Will you feel motivated when you're at day 25? Yes. Why? Because you're just 5 days away from your goal. Well, whereas usually what will happen is that at day 20 or 22, you will start to have no motivation. Now the urge comes, and you feel like you have no reason to actually pursue what you were doing at the start, which is to finally break free, because you don't know how much there is left until you're finally free. This is what happens usually. People, they tend to think that being free will take a really long time. Like, let's imagine yourself 1 year to break free, and they're right now at 3 weeks, and 3 weeks in, they already think, oh damn, I have to do like 50 more weeks before getting free. That is so demoralizing, right? I actually understand why you're feeling unmotivated. It's because you're thinking, oh, I have all of this ahead of me. It's like you running outside, you have 10 miles to do, you're at the first mile, and you're already thinking about your leg, which are kind of like you're feeling like you have less energy, and thinking, oh damn, I have still 9 more miles to go. Don't wonder to yourself why you're now walking. You feel like you have more energy, and you already start to feel like you crumble, right? You don't continue to run. But think the other person. The other person doesn't even think of the destination. He only thinks of the journey. While he's running, he's saying, oh, let's go. 1 foot in front of the other. And he looks around himself and says, wow, that's so beautiful outside. And after he starts to think about other things, he doesn't really think about the run. This person will do 20 miles without even knowing that he did 20 miles. Because Not because he keeps on distracting himself, but because he's not only thinking about the destination and how much there is left until he reached that destination. When I'm doing a plank, I'm exercising, right? Sometimes I'm doing a plank, I have to do 5 full minutes of plank. If I start the plank, 5 minutes by the way, let's imagine yourself, right? Because usually people at 1 minute, they drop and everything. I do 5 minutes. 5 minutes of plank. Visualize this. If at the first minute, I would say to myself, oh, I have 4 more minutes to go and plank. You know that when you do your plank, you feel like time is slow, like slow motion thing. You've never seen time going as slow as when you're doing a plank. Let's imagine that at my first minute, I'm thinking to myself, I have 4 more minutes to go. There is no way that I will do the 4 minutes. But I don't look at the time. I only look at myself and I'm eyes closed. I'm only thinking about the plank and keeping my pace. What happened? Usually I do 2 minutes 30 or even sometimes 3 minutes before actually dropping. And the more I do it, the longer I stay in the position. I successfully do this because I don't think about the angle, the end time. I'm only concentrating on myself. If I do as everybody and I only concentrate at the end time, I would think about the 5 minutes and 5 minutes, and 30 seconds in, I'm already tired. And the first thought that comes to my brain is, I have 4 minutes 30 left. What are you doing at 30? Already like struggling. So setting a goal is great, but setting a clear goal is really important. Also, another thing that you maybe didn't do is tracking your progress. Yes, you may look every day and say, oh yes, I'm 1 day more than the day before. But have you made yourself a checklist of things to do? And are you every day checking the list, the checkbox and everything? That's a good way of tracking your actual progress. Maybe you tried to implement a routine in your life. Have you put these little boxes inside of a paper or anything? And every day when you accomplish your habits, you put a little checkbox. That's actually showing you, look at all the progress you have made. Yes, maybe you relapsed, but look at all of what I did until I relapsed. And now this also makes you realize that maybe the 2 days right before you relapsed, you start doing no habits. Maybe you were exercising every day. The 2 days before fapping, you realized, oh, I didn't exercise these 2 days. Oh, I didn't do my deep work this day. Oh, I didn't read this day. I didn't meditate this day. I didn't go outside and walk under the sun this day. I didn't drink enough water. You kind of see there's something that will happen. And tracking your progress, first of all, is a really good motivator. Imagine yourself, all the motivation that you could get, because you can see, oh, right, I did this. I'm the person that did all of that. And you see, every day you check box like 10 bucks. Oh, wow, I accomplished all of that. That's like big motivation, big self-confidence that can come from that. And it also reminds you of all the things that you have to do. So you're sure that you're doing everything. You don't have to all keep it on your mind and keep on thinking about it. It's on a piece of paper. You don't even have to think about it. Just look at the paper. Oh, I have to do this. Then I do it immediately. As I said multiple times, having someone to actually support you makes a big difference in your journey. When you're alone, you don't give the same type of efforts as where you're supported by other people. That actually keeps you accountable, right? Also, when you know that others are rooting for you, that can give you an extra push, right? It's not for nothing that in stadium, when people are playing sports, right, in a hockey arena and things like that, there is people that are actually rooting and shouting and everything, right? It's because this gives energy, this gives motivation, and this makes you want to surpass yourself. The same applies to porn, right? When you're trying to quit, if there's people in your back saying, let's go, Wesley, continue and everything, and they keeps on shooting your name, you might see yourself actually performing even better in certain things, right? So you have to find yourself someone, a trusted friend, family, even maybe me, right? I'm there for you. I can be the one to support you, and I can actually assure you that I'm the best you could have by your side. Imagine having me by your side, actually every day routing for you, and yes, let's go, hey, you're day 20, let's go. That will give you such motivation that you won't lack motivation ever again, because I'm there actually supporting you. And this is true especially when you feel like you're giving up. In hockey, for example, when a team is losing 7-2, but you hear the person in the stadium actually shouting, let's go, na, na, like that brings you motivation. Even though you're losing 7-2, you still have the motivation to actually score another goal and then score another goal after and another. And you don't see yourself, oh, I'm 5 goals away from being equal. You're seeing yourself, oh, I have goals to do right now. I have people to not deceive, and I have shit to do, and I'll go and score those goals. Finally, the motivation a lot of the time stops because you start to think negatively. So I want to finish all of this video by saying, stay positive. Remember what I said in previous videos. Positive thinking attracts positive things in life. People that always think about negative things, this only brings problem in their life. And I know that you know a person in your surroundings that always think negative. And what happened in his life? He always have problem, right? Everyone has problem, but you have 2 ways of thinking about them. Either you take it as a learning opportunity, and that's a good way of thinking, right? That's positive. Or you think it about the negative way, the what really happened, right? Let's say, for example, I did something idiot on my bike, and I actually dropped on the floor and I scratched all of my leg. I have 2 ways of thinking about it. Either I say, oh damn, I'm trash, right? I just dropped like on the floor and now I'm all scratched and it's so hurting myself and everything. Oh, I'm bleeding. That's like so negative. Or I can say, oh wow, what a story I have to tell now. Like I tried to do a backflip and now my bike turned on himself and I got like ejected from the bike. And while I was rolling, there was a car coming, so I had to push myself on there. You see, I have it's really 2 different mindsets. It's what can I learn from this, or what is good from that happened, the optimistic way, or the pessimistic way, which is, oh, I hurt myself and now I have problems walking and everything. I took a random example, but this can be applied everywhere, right? You just have to think about it. Try to actually see the good, positive way of every opportunity, everything that happened. Because every problem is an opportunity. You just have to view it that way. And at first, you may be obligated to force yourself seeing it that way. But at a certain point, it will come naturally. And you will see positive thinking attract positive things in life. Don't forget that. It's actually important. And while you're on your recovery, if you keep on thinking positive, you will first have way more chance of keeping your motivation for a longer time. And if you mix that with all the tips that I just gave, you will keep your motivation for the whole course of your addiction recovery journey. And you will see it's way much easier that way. And you will attract better things in life, as I mentioned a lot of the time. So on that, take care of yourself.